Just in time, I think. My heater just shut off. Check. Ah, there we go. Wow, the lag time is okay. It is working. Everything's working, I believe. So, wow, it's been a while. Hi, everybody. Um, we got a lot to discuss today, I guess. Michigan has discovered that the FBI are the only people that were plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchin Whitmer. We have got a child porn sympathizer on the Supreme Court bench, and the Grand Valley Lanthorn, and of course all the other papers. They do their usual level of reporting there. Defend Democrats at all costs and don't tell you what's true, right? We have also got. I had one more thing. Shoot. Had one more thing that we were going to talk about. You know what? We'll just get into it. I'm Anon Don, and this is the Homes Politicast. Having trouble switching in between scenes there. Also, I did not do this. Whoopsie daisy. There we go. Not that you want to see my face. I'll make it tiny. But, some people will criticize those of us that show up without our faces. Unless you're a Democrat. Then it's fine, of course, because the violent Republicans are going to kidnap you and kill you and take you away, correct? Well, maybe. That may be the case. Or maybe the FBI is behind the entire thing. So, we'll start with that one. Oh, shoot. I got to get it over onto my other screen. La-da-da, la-da-da-da-da. Okay. Don't care about that. All right. So, you've heard about the horrible, awful plot to kidnap the governor of Michigan, Gretchin Whitmer, and how these dirty scoundrels were going to use weapons of mass destruction and just blow her and her entire property up, and everything was going to be horrible and devastating and awful, and everybody was going to die, and Gretchin Whitmer's such a good person. How dare they do this to her? Correct? Yeah, you have heard that, I believe. Well, that might not all be accurate. So, from the New York Post, 2 men accused of scheming to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchin Whitmer were acquitted by a federal jury Friday, and a mistrial was declared for the other 2 defendants after the panelists were unable to agree on a verdict. Let me be clear about this. All 4 of the people were acquitted. Well, I guess 2 are acquitted, 2 are not being charged. So, out of all the kidnappers, none of them were found guilty. Now, of course, all the Democrats are going to be screaming, "Oh, they're guilty anyway. It was just white privilege." And I've seen that already. Twitter, the repository of all things super intelligent, people just going off. "Oh, if they were black, they'd be in prison for sure." Well, okay. I'm sure they would. Anyway, Daniel Harris and Brandon Caserta, were each cleared of a charge of conspiracy, while Harris was also acquitted of knowingly conspiring to use weapons of mass destruction against person or property, possession of an unregistered destructive device, and possession of an unregistered firearm. After a weeks-long trial, the jury could not agree to the verdict on the charges against Adam Fox and Barry Croft Jr., each of whom were also accused of kidnapping, conspiracy, and conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction. Croft was also accused of possession of an unregistered destructive device. Prosecutors vowed to retry Fox and Croft, who they described during the trial as two of the leaders of the plot. So, that's Daniel Harris is the guy. Oh, we get to see pictures of all of... Oh, shoot, I didn't want to do that. We get to see pictures of all of them. They're giant. All right, obviously, we're disappointed with the outcome. We have two defendants that are awaiting trial, and we'll get back to work on that, U.S. Attorney Andrew Berg said, declining further comment. I wonder why he declined further comment. Two other men arrested in the alleged plot have already pleaded guilty. One of them, Ty Garbin, was sentenced to 6 years in prison in August of last year. The defendants were a part of a group they called the Wolverine Watchmen that prosecutors said planned to abduct Whitmer from her vacation home due to the strict COVID-19 restriction and mandates she put in place during summer 2020. All right, so Brandon Caserta was also acquitted. Officials claim that the crew surveyed the governor's home and conducted field training exercises to practice combat tactics, including assaulting motor vehicles using semi-automatic assault rifles and live ammunition. Whitmer has since defended the policies she implemented, saying last June that the plots and threats against me, no matter how disturbing, could not deter me from doing everything I could to save as many lives as possible by listening to the medical and health experts, except for nursing homes. We don't pay attention to that. Just that doesn't exist. Stop it, you dirty conservatives, with your facts. To me, it is very simple, she added. This had to be the priority. The purported plotters were infiltrated by a crew of FBI informants in October of 2020. At the time, more than a dozen men were arrested in the scheme. So I want to take a little aside here as we're seeing all these pictures to note that the FBI agent the FBI informant that was involved was also arrested for beating the living daylights out of his wife, girlfriend, not sure. Can't remember. Oh well. Defense attorneys argued that the men's talk of kidnapping the governor was nothing more than marijuana-induced bluster. More seriously, they claimed FBI informants had initiated the kidnapping plan and coaxed the men into agreeing to the scheme. That is major. That is, like, people are just brushing this off as though it doesn't matter. No, the FBI initiating a felony to entrap U.S. citizens is a big deal. Some people might argue that that might have been what happened on January 6th too. Who knows? I might get banned for saying that. I'm not sure. Is that still disinformation? Or are we allowed to say that now? Like, Hunter Biden's laptop and the vaccine's not going to protect you from getting the virus. All the other disinformation that was found to not actually be disinformation. Not sure. I'm not paying that close of attention. All right. So, the plot to kidnap and kill a governor may seem like an anomaly, but we must be honest about what it really is. The result of violent, divisive rhetoric that is all too common across our country, Hulls added. There may be an accountability and consequences for those who commit heinous crimes. Without accountability, extremists will be emboldened. So, one of the guys, I think, was actually, what did they say, half a dozen were arrested. More than a dozen were arrested. So, 4 have been acquitted. One has pled guilty, which I think was probably a bad idea on his part. He should have lawyered up. So Governor Whitmer's monsters under the bed turn out to be a big old fat nothing burger. Um, as I may have said in the past, I may have actually said, I'll have to go back and check, but I think I said the FBI was heavily involved in this, and some of these men are going to be acquitted. I think I actually said all of them will be acquitted, but I didn't anticipate one of them being dumb enough to plead guilty. So, folks, don't trust the FBI. And if I disappear again, know that school is over in 2 weeks. So if you don't see me by then, yeah, the FBI probably came and got me. All right. Or they no, they can't convince me to commit a felony and entrap me, but they might try. And failing that, they'll just pick me up and, hold me for something or other. Maybe they'll send the Michigan State Police after me and tell me that I'm running my business illegally during COVID times because, I'm online and there's all kinds of viruses you can get online, so they could probably get away with that. Okay. Pervert on the Supreme Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Also, I'm going to bring up. So first, we're going to get the Lanthorn's take on this, because that's why I exist, and this is what is closest to me. This is my school newspaper, just doing the deep diving and oh goodness, look at this, doing the deep diving and investigating. Yeah. I don't even know what this is. So young something, I don't know, whatever. The cartoons get less funny as they go along. Oh yeah, I should talk about the pot. Okay, so here it is. So, Ketanji Brown Jackson, a totally irrelevant question. Wow, such insight, so smart. Oh, a vaguely racist, also irrelevant assumption. Vaguely racist. I don't know actually what that's referring to. Probably who did this? Xavier did this. So I don't know if he would. He probably knows what he's referring to, but nobody else does. And then something about a children's book. Well, not necessarily a children's book, more like a children's picture book. We'll get to that. So obviously, the Lanthorn has covered this tremendously. They just do yeoman's work, looking at Democrats and figuring out what's going on in our country. My goodness, I mean, how insightful is this? Well, it may not be very insightful or accurate. I think the totally irrelevant question was what is a woman, which is actually going to be the next segment. So we'll skip over that one. Next segment. So we'll skip over that one. Something about a children's book. Well, again, like I said, children's picture book. Picture book of children. That's a little different. So, if you're paying attention at all and haven't had your brain turned to mush by the news media in our country, you know that Senator Josh Hawley brought up Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's past, right? And in that past, she has, in all of the cases of child pornography that she has judged, she gave lower than the, it was lower than the state suggested minimum, or lower than the federally suggested minimum, and lower than the prosecutor recommendation. So she is very soft on child porn. I would note that one of the users that she released after 3 months went on to commit more crimes and is now back in prison. So I see that her tactic has just worked very well. But let's see. She answers her objections or objections to. Oh, she also said that there's this gem. Get rid of the Lanthorn silliness. I should have had this pulled up, and my apologies for not. It's down here somewhere. It's not too far down. Oh yeah, there's the FBI agent at the center of kidnapping probe assaulted wife after swingers. Yeah, so he wanted to have sex with other people. She didn't. He beat her. So that was that. But we're on Judge Jackson now. So some people who possess child porn aren't sexually motivated, but simply in this for either the collection or the people who are loners and find status in their participation in the community. They're not sexually motivated, everybody. That's interesting. So, she said that in deliberations, or not deliberations. She said that as she was part of the U.S. Circuit Court, and she was arguing for the abolishing of mandatory minimums. So she also has one where she apologizes to the defendant and says, I'm sorry, I know you're a victim too, and very sad and everything. So she doesn't have the greatest record, but let's hear her responses. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson was quick to address questions about her record brought up by Republicans during her Supreme Court confirmation hearings Tuesday, including accusations that she has gone easy on defendants in child pornography cases. Yep, that was accused. The issue has been brought up by Senator Josh Hawley, Republican of Montana, during the first day of the hearings on Monday, when the senator informed Brown that he would be asking her about certain cases in which she imposed sentences below federal guidelines, accusing her of being soft on child pornography offenders. Yep, that's what he did. As a mother and a judge who has to deal with these cases, I was thinking that nothing could be further from the truth, Jackson said Tuesday. So, as a mother and a judge, she thought that nothing could be further from the truth. So that's an appeal that doesn't really hold any weight. I'm a mother and a judge, so it's okay. What? This lady is gonna be quite a judge. These are some of the most difficult cases that a judge has to deal with, as they involve pictures of the abuse of children and how judges must read graphic descriptions during sentencing. And what does she mean, difficult cases? Like, difficult to decide on punishment? Difficult to see happen? That'd be one question that, an actual news media might ask. Another one they might ask is, why? Why are you letting them out of prison after 3 months, after 6 months, after 10 months? But we don't have a media that asks that. We have a senator that asks that, and then a media that laughs at him for asking it. As far as the sentences themselves, Jackson said, there's a statute that tells judges what they're supposed to do. She went on to say that according to the statute, judges are not supposed to do whatever the sentencing guidelines say. So there's a statute that tells judges what they're supposed to do. But also the statute says that judges are not supposed to do that. Wow. She's sounds like Kamala Harris. Yeah, we're going into the future by leading toward the present time that is in the future, and the hopes and dreams and aspirations that the present of the future may hold. There's a statute. This statute may tell me what I'm supposed to do with child pornography offenders, but this statute also says that I am not supposed to do that. We're moving on. That statute doesn't say look only at the guidelines and stop. The statute doesn't say impose the highest possible penalty for this sickening and egregious crime. Well, I'm glad she can admit that it's sickening and egregious crime. Jackson said, the statute says calculate the guidelines, but also look at the various aspects of this offense and impose a sentence that is, quote, sufficient but not greater than necessary to promote the purposes of punishment. And what are the purposes of punishment? That would be a good question for real news media to ask. What are the purposes of punishment? Why are we putting these people in cages? Why are we putting them away from society, away from computers where they can do this again? That would be a great question for a sitting U.S. Supreme Court judge. Now sitting U.S. Supreme Court judge. But the media asked her none of these questions. Jackson specifically said that in such cases, she makes sure that a child's voice is represented, that is in scare quotes, you can see, in her sentencing. She explained that in many cases where a defendant may claim that their offenses were not so severe because they only viewed material and did not produce it, she tells them about victim statements she has received. I tell them about the adults who were former child sex abuse victims, who tell me that they will never have a normal adult relationship because of this abuse. I tell them about the ones who say I went into prostitution, I fell into drugs because I was trying to suppress the hurt that was done to me as an infant, Jackson said. She then recalled one case she tells defendants about, where a victim said that, quote, she has developed agoraphobia. She cannot leave her house because she thinks that everyone she meets will have seen her pictures on the internet. So she tells these to people that possess child pornography and then lets them out after 3 months. So apparently, it seems, because I can't ask her questions, it seemed, well, she wouldn't take questions from me anyway, as most other Democrats in the state, which I'll get to later. It seems that she's saying, well, I told them about how bad these people feel and how they can't leave their house and how it's just awful that child pornography exists. Why should I have to sentence them harshly? Oh yeah, let's continue. I tell that story to every child porn defendant as part of my sentencing so that they will understand what they've done. Yes, because words they get to the soul. Words out of a poet's mouth can change the heart of a man. Words painted in rainbow colors are going to lead us into the future that is not yet present, but the present is in the future. And words are what are going to keep child porn offenders from doing it again. I say to them that there's only a market for this kind of material because there are lookers, that you are contributing to child sex abuse. And then I impose a significant sentence and all of the additional restraints that are available in the law. Additional sentence, or a significant sentence of 3 months. These people are looking at 20, 30, 40 years of supervision. They can't use their computers in a normal way for decades. I am imposing all of those constraints because I understand how significant, how damaging, how horrible this crime is. Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess. Hawley's office immediately responded to Jackson on Twitter. Fact check: in the case of U.S. versus Driscoll, Missouri judge Sarah Pitlick imposed the exact sentence, 60 months, the government intended to seek. By contrast, Judge Jackson went below the government's recommendation every time she could. There's no comparison. So, Senator Hawley actually has a lot on Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. You can see it on his Twitter page. Twitter has not yet. Oh, whoops! I had another thing that I want to talk about. Twitter has not yet censored that, and they might not. I heard. Excuse me. Wow, that one just kind of snuck out there. I heard that Elon Musk is going to be on the Twitter committee, so that's really cool. Other things that you might be interested in. Actually, did I have one more thing that I wanted to? Nah. You know what? We're gonna go on to the weed program at Grand Valley. So this is what your tuition dollars, my tuition dollars, are paying for. GV offers a unique opportunity for students to study cannabis operation. We went from make it legal to now there's of course there's college courses that, you know what? Let's continue. What began as a single class in 2019 called Cannabis Regulations and Tourism, HTM 242, has now expanded into an opportunity for students to receive a badge, certificate, or minor in cannabis operations. Do you need a minor in cannabis operations? Like, what does this certificate or badge do exactly? That's my question. Is this something that you need to? I've known many pot growers and pot business owners in my smoking days. None of them had a badge or a certificate, and they seem to do just fine in the business. So, just another way for Grand Valley to suck out money, I think, but whatever. People keep giving it to them. Both the badge and the certificate are completed online, while the minor now offers in-person courses for students. Great. But just fantastic. So, as your children are being victimized and sexualized, GV is going to give you cannabis so that you don't quite feel it so very much. All right. In other child news, so obviously, I think I talked about this bill of Lori Pohutsky can't even answer whether or not she supports children being instructed in sexual activities. So I'm sure we should take her opinion seriously. In other news, don't say gay. No, I'm telling you, don't say gay. You can't say that word anymore because Florida has made it illegal. Also, Alabama has made it illegal. Alabama, don't say gay, trans care, and bathroom ban bills. Let's see. Florida's don't say gay was passed. Don't say gay. Now, I did something really novel, and I know not many other people think of doing this because, we have the media to just tell us what to think about it. So I did something really interesting off the cuff. I went and I read the bill. It's 7 pages long. So I think I may have talked about this. Lori Pohutsky refused to answer my question. So Livonia, Michigan, try and probably get her out of office because she will probably legislate the do say gay bill. You have to say gay bill, in which children are forced to receive instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity in K through 3. So, let's see if I can. I know the bill is out there somewhere. There it is, Florida bill. So, interestingly enough, look at this. 7 pages long, page 7 of 7. Not very long. Most people can probably read and understand this bill. Florida Republicans didn't make it hard to understand. So, I asked Senator Lori Pohetsky which part of this Representative, she's not a senator, what am I talking about? Representative Lori Pohetsky, which part of this she objected to. Still waiting on that answer. I got a long diatribe about how growing up in Catholic school she was deeply scarred and she's emotionally seared because she wasn't able to learn about gay people, but that's about it. So, what's so bad about this Don't Say Gay bill? Let's see. So, excuse me. My gosh, I cannot get this mucus out of me. All right. Adopt procedures for notifying a student's parent if there is a change in the student's services or monitoring related to the student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being, and the school's ability to provide a safe and supportive learning environment for the student. Well, that's pretty dastardly of those Republicans. How dare the parents be notified about their student services? What? How dare they? This is an affront to gay people. A school district may not adopt procedures or student support forms that prohibit school district personnel from notifying a parent about his or her student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being or a change in related services or monitoring. God! How dare they? How dare they not allow schools to develop procedures that exclude parents from knowing what they're... How dare they notify parents about their children's health and well-being? God, I can't believe those dastardly Republicans. Ugh. I'm going to just have an aneurysm. Classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through 3rd grade or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. How dare they not let me indoctrinate my kindergarten children? Like, teachers have been quitting over this, which is great. I love that. That's the good news in all of this. My goodness, how dare they? How dare they not teach my kindergartner that there are a spectrum of genders and they could be anything from a boy to a boy girl to a girl to an it to a they to a them. How dare they not allow me to confuse my children like that? Or how dare they not allow teachers to confuse children like that? My goodness. Student support services, training developed or provided by a school district personnel must adhere to student service guidelines, standards, and frameworks established by the Department of Education. What? They must... There's standards and we have to follow them? I can't... This is racist and bigoted and homophobic and... what's the other one? Transphobic and At the beginning of the school year, each school district shall notify parents of each healthcare service offered at their student school and the option to withhold consent or decline any specific services. What? More of this parent garbage? Why are these parents allowed to be so involved in these students? Ugh. Before administering a student well-being questionnaire or health screening form to a student in kindergarten through grade 3, the school district must provide the questionnaire or health screening form to the parents to obtain permission of the parent. More of this parent garbage. Who in their right minds gives parents the rights over their children? What a dastardly Republican uh, scheme to they're trying to take your children away from you, actually, is what they're doing, by giving you control. You ignorant, dumb parent. How dare they give you control over your child's education? How dare they? You are just a dummy. You don't know anything. Let's continue. At a minimum, the procedures must require that within 30 days after notification by the parent that the concern remains unresolved, the school district must either resolve the concern or provide a statement of the reason for not resolving the concern. What? If parents don't reply, the school can act? What? Those dastardly Republicans, they're even putting in things that make Democrats look bad because the school can still act if the parent doesn't. Wow, how dare they? How dare they? All right, I think I'm done with this. You can read the entire thing for yourself. It's standard parents have to be informed stuff. So, Representative Lori Pohutsky wants to, and you know what? She's welcome on the show anytime to defend her position. I would love to have her on the show. She won't. I've invited her on. She refuses to come on. I've invited quite a few Democrats on. They all refuse to come on. But regardless, you can read this bill for yourself. You can find out what it says. You can actually, all those things that I read probably at least 3/4 of the bill, and I didn't see "don't say gay" anywhere. I didn't actually see the word "gay" anywhere. And I think you can do a search. Yeah. Let me see if I can find the word "gay" anywhere. Gay. 0 out of 0. Wow. The word "gay" doesn't even appear in the bill. So the infamous "don't say gay" bill does not include the word "gay." And with that, I need to prepare for another project. Yeah, I have been... See, so the second half of the semester was when the 20 credits becomes a bad idea. I'm still doing fine. I'm getting all my projects in. I've got quite a few things left to do, but I've got a good start on everything, so it feels good. So my 20 credit semester should be fine. So in light of all of this, I would say don't trust the media, which is what I say every week. Yeah, well, every time I'm on. Don't trust the media. Find a source that you can trust. Maybe one that reads bills before they spout off on them. That'd be a good source, maybe. Good luck finding one. I still can't find one. I've asked. Even Charlie LaDuff can't figure these things out, or won't, because he'll lose half of his listeners. But regardless. So, yeah, takeaways. Protect your children. Don't vote Democrat. Find news you can trust. Or maybe take your money away from the news sources. Yeah, that's the most we can do. Otherwise, they're just kind of going to keep on, doing what they do. I'm Don. This is the Homes Politicast.